So welcome this evening. This will be an introduction to Google Drive. Google Drive is one of the tools or programs that are used or made available by Google, and it is free. And I'll describe how much memory and storage you get for free. If you need more, you can pay for that as well. And just a little bit quickly, why am I here? So that's me. I'm David Schuckman. I'm a tech guy. My whole professional career has been in technology, at least since I got out of college. And so about 10 years ago, I did start my own company. So I'm a small local information technology service company. My clients tend to be small businesses and not-for-profit organizations, companies or organizations that don't have their own IT department. And the kind of things we do are we do website support. I don't build new websites, but sometimes for people that need content changes, new pictures and text, things like that, I'll help with that. Some technology projects, maybe looking for software to implement that works for the organization, things like that, and advisory and training. So here's where we are here. I'm also an active blogger. I write about tech topics, but I write to an audience that are not technical people. They tend to be lay people who just want to learn about technology. And so if you want to go to my website, Princeton Tech Advisors, or my blog address as well, we'll go to the same page. And you're welcome to look at there's more than 100 posts there. And even though they're tech topics, they're not written in heavy duty tech jargon, really meant for the business person or lay person to understand the topic. So what we will cover today are these things. We're going to talk about, well, what is Google Drive? Hopefully define it and describe it for you. And again, anywhere along any of these topics you have a question, just let me know and I want to make sure I'm clear. Oops. We're going to talk about some of the Google Drive buzzwords and vocabulary. And so that's what we'll be doing. So you'll get to become familiar with them. I'll show you the Google Drive interface, basically the web page and how to use it and all the functions that are there. Now, if you've used Google Drive in the past and you're coming back into it, it's been a while, they did redesign their menu structure earlier this year. You weren't in a previous Google Drive class, so this version of the presentation is updated as well. We'll talk about folders. We'll talk about files, how to find them and upload them and download them and all those sorts of things. And so you'll understand those operations about using folders and using files. We'll talk about how you can search for files and search for folders in your Drive. And they also have something called versions of files. And so it's almost like if you had a file cabinet with a file folder and you had several versions of a document, maybe once a year you update it. And you keep all the old versions in there, but the one that's most important is the one that's up front. And so Google Drive allows you to maintain versions of files, something that typically you can't do as easily or straightforward just on your own computer, whether it's Mac or PC. So the first couple of slides we're going to go through are just going to be some definitions and what is and things like that. So it may seem like we're going to buzz through what a file is and what a folder, but the second group of slides are kind of the how-to. So don't worry. If you're wondering, why did I only spend 30 seconds on a folder? Don't worry. We're going to cover it a little bit more detail. Again, doesn't mean you should not ask a question. I'm just letting you know why it may appear like we're kind of quickly going through a couple of these topics. This is the introduction part, and then in a few minutes we'll get to the how-to. So what is Google Drive? You can store any file, and you can keep any format of file. It could be photos, it could be documents, it could be spreadsheets, drawings, videos, music, zip files. It can store all those files in your Google Drive. What's nice is you can access your files from anywhere. And the reason why is the files are stored online. So, and they're in your Google Drive account. and you can access it from any one of your devices, whether you have a smartphone, a tablet, a PC, an app, or a browser. Anytime you have an internet connection, whether it's at home, coffee shop, library, if your phone, using a phone with cellular, generally you get internet as well. So as long as your phone or device can access the internet, you can access your Google Drive. It's not a copy of your hard drive. It's a separate place to store files and folders. We'll talk about synchronization in a few minutes, but it's not a copy of everything. You can also share files and you can share folders with other people. You can invite other people to view them or download them or even collaborate. You can let them work on your files or files in your Google Drive. So you get to control those permissions, and we'll show you how to set that up in a few minutes as well. Now, you get completely free 15 gigabytes. So if you have a Google account, usually it's a Gmail username and password. As long as you have that Gmail username and password, you can access any of the Google programs and tools. That's your access to your Google account. So while it does log you into Gmail, it really logs you into your Google account with all the different tools and programs, including Google Drive. And so you get 15 gigabytes for free. Is that a lot? It depends on what you're storing. If you're storing a lot of high resolution images and a lot of videos, 15 gig is not really a lot. But if you're going to just keep your documents, that's probably going to last you most of your need. So you have to decide for yourself if 15 gig is going to be enough. You can upgrade. They have lots of different upgrade plans, 100 gigabytes or more, terabyte, 2 terabyte, you can get a lot more. So it starts at $20 a year. Really not a lot of money if you needed 100 gig at $20 a year. And you just renew it each year. Just put your credit card on the account.
Question.
Yep.
So I assume that if you are running low, it'll notify you that you're running out of space.
I believe you'll get a notification. You'll also see when you're in your Google Drive, it'll tell you how much you have and how much you're using.
And you'll show us where that's at.
Yeah. So it'll show, it's really right on your dashboard or the home page of Google Drive. So it'll say you're using, 5 gigabytes of 15. Yeah. Now, by the way, that's actually your whole Google account. So if you have a lot of Gmail and you're going to have a lot of attachments, that'll use up some of it. So just be a little careful. The quantity of email is not relevant unless you have a lot of attachments. The attachments take up the space. Yep, but it'll show you right on your Google Drive. So we'll go through some of the basic vocabulary. If you're already PC users, you know some of these already, but we'll just kind of level set all of us. So files and folders. Files are what store your data. Your files contain text, pictures, videos. They have names. Hopefully you name them in a way that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes if you take photographs from a camera, it gives a funny name with letters and numbers. You can always rename it, Summer at the Lake or whatever. And also in your folders, you can have, in addition to files, you can have other folders. And you can create a hierarchy of folders. And when there are folders within folders, that's sometimes called subfolder. So you might have a folder, I'm just going to make this up, called vacation photos. And you might have a folder under it. One folder might be 2022. And then you'll have a folder under that. And it might be, summer photos at the lake. We went to the cabin. So you might have a summer vacation and you might have a winter vacation, if you have multiple vacations. And so you can kind of create this hierarchy of organization. So a folder contains folders and can also contain files. Upload. So that's when you take a copy of your file and you send it up to the internet or up to your Google Drive. So if you have a file on your computer and you want to put it up in your Google Drive, you can upload it. Now, this is not what's called synchronization. That's a separate feature that's automatic. Download is the opposite. You have your Google Drive or really anywhere on the internet or another computer, and you want to take a file from your Google Drive or from another computer, put it on your computer. That's called download. Now, of course, if you download it to your desktop PC, it's not automatically synced to your phone and to your laptop or your tablet. So if you have the synchronization running, that could do it, or you would have to download it to multiple places, or just use it on your Google Drive. All those devices can access the same Google Drive with the same versions of the files. Share or sharing allows you to allow other users to view or download or even to edit any other folders or files that you have in your Google Drive. Now, what will happen is if you give a folder a certain permission, like public access or view access, the files and folders under it will inherit the permission of the parent. Now, if you have 2 or 3 levels down of folders, and it's the folder at the bottom that's given the more public permission, only that folder and its files will have the public permissions, not automatically the ones above it. You would have to grant those individually. So it's always top down. Whichever one you grant permission, the ones below it will automatically inherit the same permissions. Now, if you happen to have a public folder or subfolder, and you want one of them not to be public, you can actually change the permission of that one file or folder or those files or folders within. But automatically or by default, anything that's created in a folder inherits the same permission and privilege. Is that clear? Okay, I'm not able to see if you're doing thumbs up. And then versioning. You can actually keep old instances of a file while the current one is still active. So, let's say you're in business and you have terms and conditions. So we'll just make that up. And you want people to be able to download your latest terms and conditions, and you give them the link to the file, and then that's fine. You might have different terms and conditions over the years, and they'll kind of be behind and hidden. They won't be viewable by the people you share it with. They'll only share the current one and see the current one, but you can keep all the other ones right underneath, kind of for posterity. Where was the one before? I need to go back and look at something, and you just go right to it, show you versioning in a little bit. And then sync means synchronization. So this is where Google Drive actively or automatically duplicates files between your devices and your online Google Drive account. And so for each of your devices, like your tablet or your PC or your Mac, you can go on the internet, go to Google, and search for, in the Google search window, Google synchronization or sync and backup. And you will then have to download the program onto your computer. Once it's downloaded, the setup includes logging in with your Google username and password. And then what Google will do on your PC is create a folder called Google Drive. And it will begin to synchronize the files in the Google Drive folder with the Google Drive that's on your Google account. We're not covering that in any great detail today. Again, it's just beyond the basic or the intro. So use Google to search for sync and backup, download the app, and then activate it with your username and password for your Google, and you will get a copy folder on your PC with the files that are in your Google Drive. Now, if you make an update to the version of the file on your PC, it will automatically go back up to your Google Drive. If you make an update to the version on your Google Drive, it will automatically go down to the devices that are synced. So if you have multiple devices with backup and sync, so in theory, what you can do is have a Google Drive and connect your PC and your tablet with the backup and sync. If you update a program or a file or a folder on your tablet and it's in your Google Drive, it'll go up to the Google Drive, and when you turn on your PC or your laptop later, it'll come down and copy it there. So all your devices can be synced as long as you have backup and sync running, or sync and backup running. So yeah, you can read more about it online. I just wanted to give you an introduction to it. So sometimes people want to know, but is Google Drive in the cloud? And some people think that's good. Some people are concerned, and some people aren't really sure. So the short answer is yes, it is in the cloud. It is on Google's computer servers, wherever they are, and that's why it's called the cloud. It's just up there. We don't know really where it is, but it's in your Google Drive account on their computer systems, and you log on through your browser using your Google account. So what is cloud storage? Kind of what I was describing. It's basically a type of computer storage where the data is stored on some main computers, but not in your own PC or on your own tablet. Now, synchronization duplicates, so we're not really talking about that. The primary Google Drive is in their account, your account on their servers. And cloud storage is actually safe. It's typically safer than most individuals' computers. Now, certainly we do hear about big organizations that sometimes get hacked. For the most part, it's few and far between, and most of the big cloud storage providers put a lot of money and effort into protecting their server. Now, because you're uploading files to Google Drive, if the file you're uploading has a virus, you will send the file with the virus into your Google Drive account, but it won't infect the other files, and it won't infect other people's accounts. But when you bring the file back down to use it, it could unleash the virus on your computer. So it is protecting the files in the cloud, but the virus is still going with it. So you should have your own virus protection and all that kind of stuff as well. Now, there is a way of doing true backup. Sync and is not really a backup strategy. So that would be another kind of discussion. So this is the Google Drive homepage. So if you go to drive.google.com, and you're welcome to log on to yours now or in a few minutes when we really get started. But John, if you look at the bottom left, it says I'm using 10.71 of 30 gigabytes. You see that?
Yes, I see it.
So that's how you know actively exactly how much is in your total drive. And was there another question? Was it Kimmy, or I heard a woman speaking? Janet? No. Okay.
No, not me.
Okay. Yeah, I just heard something in the background. Again, I'm not looking at your faces because I have a full screen of the presentation. So I just have to guess. So this is not the how-to section. We're not there yet. This is the part we're going to kind of skim over so you've seen it once before we start really how to it. But the main folder in your own Google Drive is called My Drive. So Google Drive, most file systems are a hierarchy. Google Drive is. So the main folder is called My Drive. You can have files and these little icons. WP Bakery, Elementor, looks like a little mini file folder. These are folders. And then the file icons for this Ritter's Custom Woodwork tells you what type of file it is by the icon. There's more information to be had. We'll get into that in a moment. Whenever you need to create a new file or new folder, you press the new button. Again, we'll go into this in more detail at a slower pace because that's when you'll be working. Anytime you want to search your Google Drive, you search in that Search in Drive window. You can put in any word or keyword, and it will search your Google Drive, not the whole internet. It'll search your Google Drive for any folders or files that match what you put in. And the apps tray looks like a little 9 dots or Rubik's Cube on its side. When you click on that, a window drops, and it shows you all different Google programs. Most of them are free. That's one of the places where you can access Google Drive if you didn't know it was drive.google.com. You could also, it's one of the places you can access Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Forms, a lot of other programs that are in there. We're only talking about Drive today. The menu. So My Drive, you just click on that, you go right to the very top of your hierarchy. Oops. Sorry. New, anytime you're going to create a new folder or new file. Again, we're going to have exercise time in just a few minutes. Search on the left as well. Oh, we did this page, Google Drive menu. So we did My Drive. Share with me. These are files or folders you didn't create, but are shared by others with you. So if someone wanted to share one of their files or folders with you, you click in there and you'll see the different files and folders of others that you have access to. Oh, pressing the wrong button, my apologies. Recent. These allow you to see the recent files and folders that you worked on. So you might have 100 documents and folders. You're interested in just looking at the most recent. What did I work on yesterday? I just want to go to that. What's nice is if that's kind of down through the hierarchy, you don't have to click through the hierarchy. You can just click on the recent. And if you did it recently, it'll just pop up and be available to you. And trash. Anytime you delete files, delete folders, it goes into your Google Drive trash bin. It stays there for 30 days. And if you do nothing after 30 days, it will be permanently deleted. Or within the 30 days, you can either permanently delete it yourself. You could just say, get rid of it now. Or you can recover it if you accidentally put it in trash. What's nice about putting it in trash and then permanently deleting it is if you're managing the size of your Google Drive. So at the bottom, it says 10.71 gig of 30. If this said 28 gig of 30 shared or used, I might want to instantly delete a lot of files, put them in trash, then permanently delete them. Because when they're in trash, they still count towards the amount of use of your drive. When you permanently delete it, it doesn't count any longer. So the file list. So they have this section called suggested. Now these could be, sometimes they're recent files or sometimes they're other files similar to ones you were looking at. So some people like to use that. The file list is based on the folder. And if you see up above, we're in the My Drive. If we were navigating in another folder, we would see here all the files and folders that are in that folder that we're in right now. We'll be doing navigation in just a moment. Okay, and view. So you can actually change between what's called the list view, and that's what's shown now. But if you click that button, you can see next to the red arrow, this is grid view. Everything looks kind of like a thumbnail of a document. So there's the list view, again, where the bottom half shows you the list of all file names. And then this is the grid view. So everything looks like a thumbnail. It's preference. There's no right or wrong. And then the details. If you click the little detail, the little eye up here, you get details of the document in that little side panel or the folder. See a lot of information that are there. Okay. Now, when you're in your list, when you want to resort the files, you just click on the column heading. You click on any column heading to sort. If you click on the column heading a second time, it'll go from ascending to descending. So from alphabetical, if you're on a name, if you're in the date, it'll be in date order, oldest first, or date order, newest first, depending on how many times you click. So you can click on any of those column headings, and that will show you the sort order. Yet why might you want to click on file size if, again, you're trying to trim or delete files to maintain your space? You might want to look for some big files that you didn't realize you had, or maybe they're just very old and you don't need them anymore. So you might want to do that for clicking on file size. You have several date choices. You can sort by when it was last modified, when it was last opened. There's also last modified by me. And the reason why there's a difference between last modified and last modified by me is when you share a file. So you may have a file that was modified by somebody else today, but it wasn't you. And when you click on last modified, it'll come to the top. But the one last modified by me might be below that one. So if you're interested in the one modified by me, it'll sort based on you being the person. If you're not sharing, those two are really the same. So for folder menu options, and again, we're just powering through. I want you to see these things, and then we'll actually practice them. Open with. So that allows you, when you highlight a file like the Elementor behind it, you can say open with. So usually Google Drive knows what program to open a file, but sometimes it doesn't. Or sometimes you can have a choice. And so you can see the choices that are available, or you can pick the one by connecting to the app. Download the highlighted file. You press this button and it will go to your computer. Rename does just that. If the file was called File 1, but you wanted to name it Annual Report, you click on that and you'll rename it. We'll show you later how to do it. Here's where you begin to share, the share function. You can share one of two ways. By clicking the share option on the right, you can actually tell it the name of the person, actually the email address of the person you wish to share it with. Or you can copy the link. Every individual file, every individual folder has its own very long, funny web address name. It's a link. And so you can just copy the link and send it to somebody. You can move files around. That's what Organize is for. You can get all the details and information, the activity. Activity is actually pretty cool. You can actually see when it was last updated, or the times and the days it was updated. So you can kind of see a history. And you want to delete it. File menu options, those are folder menu options, are just about the same. Okay, it'll open with. So here it's saying this file wants to open with Google Sheets. If you wanted to, you can say open with Excel if you had Excel installed or downloaded. So there's things you can control. You can download it to your own computer. You can also rename it in your Google Drive. If you want to rename it, you might want to rename it first and then download it. Because if you download it first and you work on it, you're not renaming it in Google Drive, or the name won't match what you're renaming it for on the computer. You can make a copy, and that's actually pretty cool. You can you click there and it'll make a copy of a file. We'll show you that in a bit. Again, you can share files. You can move them around. You get file information, and you can move them to the trash. So just about the same operations on files as you have with folders. Okay, so that was just kind of powering through. Wanted you to know some of the terminology, the things that we're going to talk about. And this version or stage, what we're going to do is, this is kind of like the how-to guide. So I think what would be handy for you is if you can kind of keep two windows open on your computer. One with your Google Drive, and then the other with this presentation so you can actually see how to do something. Okay, so if you're right now in full screen for your GoToMeeting, you might want to press the escape key on your keyboard, and that should make it a window. And you can have two windows side by side, a window with the browser that has your Google Drive, and another window that's going to have the presentation. So we'll be going at a little bit slower pace so that you can try each of the functions within the Google Drive. And again, anytime you have a question, just interrupt, let me know, and we'll ask you a question then. So you folks ready? Okay, I'm going to assume so, because again, I can't see your faces. So navigating. Now remember, you can download this presentation. I'll show you where. And so it will show you slide by slide exactly what we're talking about today. And of course, since you've given me permission to record this, you can even just watch the recording and go right to the section that you're interested in. So navigating, what you want to do is, well, pick a folder. You want to move around through your drive. Right now, you can see on the top center, we are in the My Drive, the main folder, the root folder, sometimes called the root directory. So you're in your My Drive. And if you want to go into the Elementor Pro plugin folder, and if you're a WordPress person, that's what that is. It's a WordPress program. You just double click, tap, tap real fast with your mouse. And now you'll be in the Elementor Pro plugin. So if you want, go ahead and try that. Oops, I did not want to exit that, sorry. There we go. So you double click on a folder. So any questions about that? Is that straightforward? Having a challenge? Easy peasy? And again, I can't see the little thumbnails with your faces, unfortunately. So if you give me a thumbs up, I'm sorry, I can't see it just now. And so this is pretty quick and easy. I'm going to assume you're good with this, but if I go too fast or change slides and you don't want me to, we'll go back, just let me know. When you want to create a new folder within a folder, what you do is you navigate to whichever folder that you want to create the new folder. In this case, we are in the My Drive, but like we did the navigate before, we can double click into any of the folders, go down through the hierarchy. And then when we get there, we press the new button on the left side. And you may want to try this. And when you press the new button, a pop-up menu shows. And there's the very first option, New Folder. So you press the New button, and then you have a pop-up menu, and you press New Folder. And you click on that with your mouse, and another little pop-up window shows up, and you get to name your folder. So it's always called untitled folder, until you overwrite it. And you can call it really just about anything you want. And so you type in that box, and then the folder will then show up in your list below. Or if you have the grid view, you'll see it in the grid. I happen to like the list view. For me, it's what I like the best. If you prefer the grid view, remember you can go up to this little section. It's below my icon, my name up there. These kind of 6 dots. You can click that and you get list view. Okay. So all good? Or anyone have a question or want me to slow down? Just let me know. Now, if you don't want to create a folder, but you have one on your computer and you want to bring that into Google Drive, that's called upload a folder. And it's you do press the new button because to your Google Drive, it will become new, even though it's old on your computer. And then there is a drop-down menu, and then there's folder upload. And if you believe in foreshadowing, right above it is file upload. We'll talk about that after the next one. So you click the folder upload option, and now, depending on if you're a Windows or Apple user, you'll get the typical screen that allows you to search for a folder. You can go to any one of your, now this window has your PC folders. You can go to any one of these. You can go to your documents, your drive, your company, whatever you have, you search. You can go down through as much as you want till you find one. This Amazon Prime folder, you click on it, and then below that in the box, you press the upload button. And if you, whichever folder you're in your Google Drive, it will put a subfolder in that. So if you're in your My Drive folder, you'll have, in this case, the Amazon Prime in your Google Drive. And so you can try that if you'd like. The only way I can tell if you're trying it is if I stop the presentation. Oh. Can't really tell if you're busy or working. A couple of people have got cameras off. That's okay. So I'll move on unless you tell me not to, or if you have a question, we will keep going. Uploading a file kind of works the same way. One thing that they did kind of nice is, as much as possible, they kept functionality for files and folders similar. There are some differences, you'll see them, but mostly they keep them the same. So that way, once you start learning one, the other kind of flows. Press New, you press File Upload, and you click on that File Upload menu item, and a similar sort of box opens up. Instead of uploading folders, you'll upload files. And the file will be put, and you can do more than one. You can highlight a few files if you'd like. And they'll be put in the folder on your Google Drive that you were in. If you were in your My Drive, it'll go there. If you navigated to another folder, then the file will be copied into the other folder. And you may be curious, what's the difference between if I upload it and synchronization? Well, as long as you upload from your computer to your Google Drive and you don't change them, they're synchronized. They're virtually the same. The backup and sync function, if you download that onto your computer, automatically synchronizes every place when any one changes. So it's automatic with backup and sync. So a question came up a little bit earlier. What about, I think it was from Janet, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. So we're not going to go into the how-to of using any of those, but the way you would create a new doc is you press the New button, and then you have the options. And you can create a Google Doc right there. Now, if you're not familiar with Google Docs, it's the Google version of Microsoft Word. If you're not familiar with Google Sheets, it's the Google version of Excel. Slides is the Google version of PowerPoint. And the documents are always stored in your Google Drive. Now, when you're in Google Docs or Sheets or Slides, you can download them to your computer, but typically what you do is you download them to a native format that you have on your computer. So you might download it as a PowerPoint or Excel. If you download it as a Google Doc program, which you're able to do, then you need to be on the internet to open it, or have a program that can open up that instance of the file. But we're not going to go into lessons about these. And again, they will be created for you in the folder in the Google Drive that you're currently sitting in. So you can navigate your way down the hierarchy, and you can go find the correct folder of interest and create a new Google Docs. And actually, if you look at this at the bottom, there's this Ritter's Custom Woodwork Response won't go into great details, but that is a Google Sheet. That is a spreadsheet. So it is a Google document. If you want to download a file or download a folder, an easy way to do it is you right-click on the name of the file or you right-click on the name of the folder. And if you forgot, unless you're left-handed and you switched your buttons, I guess it would be left-click. But the term is called right-click on a right-handed mouse. And you right-click on the folder or file of interest. And then a pop-up menu will be here, similar to the menu we kind of powered through a few minutes ago. And you pick the download option. By default, it will go into your PC's download folder. Now, in the Windows PCs, there's actually a folder called download. Off the cuff, I don't remember the Mac world. I'm not a Mac user or an Apple PC user, but there's going to be a similar place. If you do this on your Android phone, there is a file folder option on the Android. I believe the iPhone is similar. And in the file folders in Android is a download folder, so you can see all of your files and folders. So you're not naming, you're not creating new, you're just downloading one to your own PC. Anytime you want to see recent documents and folders that you downloaded, you just click on that little arrow. It's a down arrow underneath or above a little kind of box. That's the download arrow. And that'll show you what's downloaded. If you have something excessively large that may take a few minutes, it won't say completed the way this one. It'll say in progress. So you'll know it's downloading right now. So if you want to download a folder, go ahead. I'll give you a moment. Just let me know if you're doing that. If not, we'll move along. So this is kind of playtime. So if you want to take the time to do this on your own in your own Google Drive, by all means, please do so.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, say you created a file or folder. Is there a symbol that lets you know that it is on your other devices, or you just have to go check?
So, unless you've got the backup and sync program installed, it's not automatically on your other devices. But if you download it like we're doing right now, so it's in your Google Drive, and you say, I want to download it to my own PC, the two ways you can check are check your PC, is it there? Or if you're in Google Drive, click this little picture, this little icon with the down arrow above, kind of a little half a square, half a box, and that'll tell you the recent folders and files you download. Now it's showing here, what, 4 or 5, but then there's an option, show all downloads. That box will just open way down. So you'll be able to see, yeah.
But I'm saying if you not download, but if you created a file, you said it's not automatically on your other devices.
No.
When does it get on there?
So the two ways you can get a file, let's say you're creating it in your Google Drive. Is that?
Yeah, I just created.
So you just created a file, and maybe you put some information in it, and now you want it on your PC as well. So right, that's what you want to do.
Right.
So the two ways you can do it. One way is this: you find the file in the appropriate folder in your Google Drive. You right-click on that folder or you right-click on that file to expose this menu. Has lots of options. Pick the download option. There's a little download icon, the arrow above the little half a box. You click that, and it will now be downloaded. If you want to check the status, you could press the icon for download, which is in the upper right of your Google Drive, and it'll show you everything that has been downloaded. It'll say completed, or it will say in progress if it's still downloading. And if you have a Windows PC, it will be in your download folder There's a folder called download on PC. Now,
Okay.
if you use the backup and sync, so when this class is over, and if you search on Google for the backup and sync and get that up and running, what will happen is Google will create a copy of your Google Drive on your PC. And it will do that by creating a folder on your PC, and the folder will be called Google Drive, just so you know that it's your Google Drive synchronization. And
Okay.
so when you create a file in your Google Drive and save it, within a few moments, it will be represented in your Google Drive folder.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, so this is another reason why we just didn't go into the Google backup and sync, because there's some settings. The default is in your Google Drive folder on your PC, so you have backup and sync running, you actually only have a holding place. You look at your folder, you'll see the name of the folder or file that you just created. But all it is a name that's a link. It's not the actual file. If you want to open and work on that file, you pretend it is the file. You just double click on your computer, and the first time you double click on that folder on your computer, it's physically being downloaded. So it may take a few minutes. And then you can work on it in whatever program that you have. When you're done and you save, Google will send a copy back up to your drive. The reason why Google does that is it will assume that you may be synchronizing for future use. You don't need every file right now. So why spend many, many minutes, even hours, depending on the size of your drive, to synchronize? Because you do have to stay on the internet. So it says it's putting a placeholder with the name of the file, the name of the folder. That's what's on your computer. And then you double click on it, it downloads it actively now, and you can work on it. So that's the way Google Drive backup and sync is set up. There is a way to override it. We say download everything now. Why might that be important? Because if you're going to take your computer with you to someplace with no internet, you're going to want to make sure you have the actual files right now. And again, I'm not walking you through it. I just wanted to talk about it so that when you start seeing this stuff a little later, you go, oh yeah, we mentioned that in class.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions while we're on this page, or anything we've covered so far? Or anything you think we haven't covered yet, which we'll probably get to. Okay, let us move on. Let's say you have a file or a folder and you want to rename it. So again, and we're just working in our My Drive. It doesn't matter which folder you're in. The functions all work the same in any of the folders and subfolders. But if you see at the bottom, there's an arrow, a red arrow. You right-click on that folder, and the menu pops up, and you pick Rename. And that allows you to type over the name of the folder or the name of the file. Change it to anything you want. If you have backup and sync running, it will name it on your computer as well as your Google Drive. It'll do it your Google Drive folder synchronized as well as your actual Google Drive in the cloud. And if you have other devices with backup and sync, as soon as you power them up and they see there are differences between its copy, its names, and others in Google Drive, it'll resynchronize them. Let's say you have a file, you want to leave it alone, but you want to make a copy because that's the one you're going to edit, kind of like a new version. Right-click on the file. Again, there's at the bottom, there's the arrow. Take your mouse and you right-click. And right below Rename, another option, make a copy. And then there it is, copy of Ritter's Custom Woodwork. It's a copy. It's the same exact type of file. If you copy a folder, it'll create a new folder with all the content of the original completely copied in its copy version. So do be careful when you copy folders, because you could use up if it's a folder with a lot of folders and files, a lot of disk space, you will instantly use up more disk space very quickly. So just be careful when you do that. But this is handy for copying a file and then work on that. Maybe you're doing a monthly blog and you want to take last month's and make some changes, and that's this month's. Maybe you're doing your monthly invoices and you did it in a Google sheet, and you had last month's, September's, now you're getting ready to make October's. Just make a copy, change the numbers. So if you want, go ahead, right click on a file, watch, and you can copy. So I'm kind of counting 1,000, 1,000 in my own head, just to kind of slow down, give you the opportunity to right click, try to make a copy if you'd like. And one thing kind of nice, if you see the red arrow, it shows you the keyboard control as well. Control plus C, well, it's hidden, unfortunately, by the arrow. But whenever there's shortcuts on the keyboard, if you're familiar, Control C on a Windows is a copy. I believe Command C is what it is on a Mac. And then you do Control V or Command V on the Mac, and it makes the copy. So if you're accustomed to use keyboard controls, some of these features have keyboard controls as well. And you can see it there to the right of make a copy, and makes a copy. Okay, so we'll move on, but if I'm going too fast, just stop me. We will come right back to this slide. Okay, now we're getting into some fun stuff. You want to share a file. You want to share a folder. And frankly, that's what I'm doing later tonight. I'm going to show you on my website a link to download this document. And once the video is processed, I'll make a link right below that for the video where you can click and watch the video. And so basically, I'm putting the file in my Google Drive, and I'm sharing it with all of you. I got the link and I shared it on my website. You'll see that in a few minutes. So you right click on the file and you have a couple of options. One is share and one is copy link. When you click on share, what you can do is you can put in the email address of the person that you want or the people that you want, separated by commas. And Google Drive will, if it's a valid email address, will send that person an email saying David has shared this file with you. And so you will be granting access to that person. Now, when they access Google Drive, if they're a Google Drive user, it'll show up in their shared with me on the left here, the main menu. If they're not a Google user, Google will ask them to give their email address that's being used as a validation. Another thing you could do, if you see a little further down, so you could put in the groups of people, you can also pick a role. Do you want them just to be a viewer? So you're basically giving them access, but all they can do is look at the file or look at the folder that has files in it. They can't make changes, they can't upload, they can't edit, they can't comment. Or if you could see, there are other options. They can comment, which is essentially the files that allow commenting, or they can actually edit. You can collaborate with people. So you can assign people, or you can give them specific roles. Okay. Another option you have is the little button on the left, copy the link. Right there. So instead of share, copy the link. So you probably know by using computers, if you hit Control C, it's copying what you're highlighted. It's putting in the clipboard, or Command C on an Apple. So what this basically does is the web address for the individual file, every file in your Google Drive has its own web address, got a long funky name, you know, drive.google.com/folder, it's got a long name, and it's not going to be a name that makes it obvious that it's from you, so it's kind of secure. So in this case, it's put the link in your, you're copying only the link, and that becomes very handy. You may want to write an email to somebody. Dear David, I'd like you to access this file. Here's the link, and then you paste the link in your email. Okay? So that's how you copy. That's how you share. So you can share by sharing explicitly with someone, or the general access anyone with the link, and you copy the link and just send those people the link. So for this presentation slide deck that you'll get later, that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm just sharing the link to anyone who has it. They can access it from the website. We're not, you and I aren't collaborating. Let's say you want to move a folder. So you have your folder hierarchy, folders. Under that are folders with other files. And then under that are those folders have other files. Let's say you're reorganizing, making yourself a bit more efficient. You need to move a folder or a file from the folder that it's in now to another folder because of how you're reorganizing. And this is the way you would do it. So you pick the folder or you pick the file and you right click. And the menu pops up. Now that thing with add a star or the colors, that's personal preference. It really puts a star next to the file name or it highlights it in colors. So that's just personal preference. You want to use move. Looks like a little folder with an arrow. You'll use move and you'll press move. And now you navigate through your Google Drive to another folder. So it knows you're in My Drive. It says right above it, move WP Bakery. Your current folder is My Drive. And you click on, there's that HOS4U. Click on that. Now, if in there is a folder that you want, you double click on that, and then that folder structure will open up. When you get to the place that you want, you press the move button in the lower right. And the folder or file will be moved out of the present location into its new location. Oops. So if you want to do that, take a moment or two, and I will pause right here. Let me go back. Nope, can't really tell. So I'm not looking at your screens. Maybe next year I'll be able to teach this class in person again. And we can walk around the room a bit more like a moderator, look at people's desktops. So if you're moving, please go ahead and move those files. Try and move those folders. Practice. With the warm weather, I have a bottle of water with me. And in the hour and almost a quarter that we've been on, I've drunk the bottle of water. And my air conditioner just went on. So go figure. It's going to be a warm couple of days. So, okay to move on from moving, or are you still practicing with that? Are you stuck?
I'm good.
Okay. So, all right. Since there's no objections, we will move on. Manage versions. I like this. In the Windows world, in order to have, if you are on your own Windows laptop or if your own Mac laptop, you need to make a copy of a file and then you call it version 1, version 2, version 3, or 2002, 2003, 2004, version for each year. But what you can do, if you have a file, like here's one called website revisions. And now, if I need to have a new version of it, I can work on the file offline. And when I'm done, I right-click on the file. And there's the file information menu. This is one of the changes that they made to the interface that I don't think makes sense. The old interface, the main menu, had the manage versions right there. It should be there. Manage versions is not file information. Activity and details are, but that's what Google did. They pay IT people a lot of money. I guess somebody figured out that's important. And you click the option Manage Versions. And now what you do is you're uploading a new version of the file. So there's right below it, the current version says there's a version there. It was April 3rd, 2020. And you press the button, and now you search for a file. The same way you search for any file on your computer. And you may have to go in the search bar and pick different folders, different files to find the right one. And when you find the right one, you press the open button and it uploads a version. And then it says right there, current version, same file name. It's not a copy, it's the same file name. And that one was created today at 5:11 p.m. It was actually created a couple weeks ago. Now, Google Docs, Google Sheets, the Google products don't really allow version. That's a Word document, this particular one. The reason why is when you work with Google Docs, Google Sheets, the moment you make a change, it saves it, just like you're working only on an active file. So you will first need to make a copy, kind of the old-fashioned way. But for documents that you're sharing, this is terrific. So what you may want to do is you may want to share this document called Website Revisions with VIN April 2020 with the link function that you had. When you update a version, the same link will access the new version. There's some background noise, so not sure if you're aware. Maybe put yourself on mute if you have some background noise. Or if you have a question, then of course, unmute, ask away. So you don't have to change the link that you sent to somebody when you make a version. And that's what becomes very nice about it. So you're not really collaborating as much on the same document. That's where you're actually working on the same one. But if you want to make a newer version available for people to download later, they will only see and have access to the current version through the same link that you previously sent them. Or this could be a repository for you to keep all of your historical instances of a document plus the current one. And if you want to practice with a version right now, please go ahead. Okay. And of course, you can use those little 3 buttons there to act on it. You can delete an old version if you want, or you can download an older version. That could be nice. And you could say, what was this document like 2 years ago? And you can look at them side by side, let's say on your computer, and you can see the revisions and the changes that were made. So download it and you can look at it. Okay, so I'll give you a moment. I'm just kind of peeking at you a little bit.
I'm here.
Okay, yep. So Arthur, it looks like you're paying deep attention to your computer. So hopefully you're practicing with that.
I'm actually playing around with a few things.
Okay.
I'm doing it between my phone and my computer, seeing what's the difference
Okay.
in those menus.
Yep. Yeah, if you're using your phone and your computer and they're both connected to your Google Drive, they should be refreshed fairly quickly.
Oh, okay.
If you have, and it may be depending on the device, like if in a browser, you have to press the refresh button so you can see the most current instance in the browser. So if you make a change on your PC, you may want to refresh your phone or your laptop. So the view is the same.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you had the backup and sync, that will happen automatically. It would be kind of like, did you ever look at your email system and you watch the message come in? That's kind of the way the backup and sync would work. It would show you the difference.
Only thing I'm concerned about with backup and sync is that it just automatically backs up and syncs everything. If you don't want it, just back. I know we're not covering it now, but
Yeah.
I'm a little
Well,
nervous
what it
about it.
does, it's really more or less like a link or a pointer. It's not going to back up every file. Well, it will send everything up to Google Drive in the Google Drive folder, not your whole computer. If you really wanted to back up your computer to protect against viruses and hackers, that's not what sync is for.
Right.
Because if you get a virus right now, it'll get synchronized. So you haven't saved anything. So separately, as part of your backup strategy, you would need to, let's say, have a nightly backup and then go back to an
Yeah.
older version of a file. Backup and sync is
Yeah.
not for that. But you can use your Google Drive as your backup folder. So don't use backup and sync, but every once in a while, back up specific folders to your Google Drive, and they will only have the instance based on when you last backed them up.
Ah. Okay.
So you could even with your Windows scheduler, schedule a job that says back up my documents into my Google Drive, and then it'll just go there. So you have to, we're talking backup strategy. So you could use your Google Drive as a repository of backups rather than a repository of active files.
Ah. Okay.
Okay. And to make this even more robust, you can have a folder in Google Drive, maybe you call it backup. And that's the folder that you back up certain files to just because you want to preserve them. And then other folders you use for your active stuff between your PC and your folder and your drive. So you can use both. Just, think about what you're doing because just talking it through the first time may be a little confusing. Okay. So only a few more functions and features left. How are you doing? Are you still practicing and moving and playing, or want to move along to a new function?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Arthur. Yeah.
I had an earlier question
Oh,
as to since I use docs, which I don't really use my drive.
okay.
The docs are in the docs folder, and you send and receive documents. So what's the purpose that I need or should need to use my drive?
So the
If
short
you if
answer
you,
is
if you go to the individual, sheets and docs and what have you.
when you use the Google Docs interface, it will allow you to find files that you recently worked on. You'll see your files, your docs.
Yeah.
And really what you're seeing behind the scenes is Google put it in a My Drive. So
Well,
if you're only using Google Docs
yeah,
and nothing else,
yeah.
you don't need to use Google Drive to access your stored documents. You could, but you don't need to. In that case, just stay within the Google Docs. But what you can think about then is that Google Drive can be a more robust file management system. It will hold your Google Docs, but you could put other types of files, non-Google files or other Google files in there as well.
Well, right now my docs is only in my docs. It does not transfer
Oh,
to Google Drive.
Oh, I thought it did,
So I
but
guess I could transfer them. Uh, how would I
uh,
upload them to Google Drive?
let's see. I don't have a lot of. Oh, all right. So I'm in. Do you see my screen?
Yes, I do.
So I'm in this document. It's Google Docs.
Yeah.
File, save. Oh, let's save as Google Docs. Let's go to info. Okay. So it's located in this PSG resources, which is actually a folder that's shared with me. Okay. Yeah. So it's in my Google Drive.
I'm just wondering, how do I transfer it? Let's say, how do I transfer a doc out of my doc and put it in Drive?
Okay. So I'm creating a document called new doc. Just wrote test. I'm done. There it is. It's in my drive.
Okay. Even though you
So
started in doc,
yeah,
it
that's what I
automatically
thought.
went to Drive. It
Right.
automatically up to your
So
drive.
it like I said before, it does use Docs, does use Google Drive as its repository.
Okay.
Now, if you have, a lot of docs, 50 or 100, and you
Yeah.
want to organize them, maybe you have family docs and then docs for home, things that you bought, um, whatever,
Yeah.
docs for your car, letters to different family members. What you can do is in your drive, you can create a new folder.
Yes.
Let's say we'll call it family docs. So there's and I'll rename it family documents. Now I've got the folder I want, but the documents are all down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So what you do, you pick as many folders and files as you want.
Yeah.
Right click, organize, move.
Okay.
So I'm going to do right click, organize, move.
Mm-hmm.
And now here are places that I can move to. I'm going to move it to family docs,
Yeah.
press the move button.
Yeah.
So now in my family docs, there's my file.
Yeah.
So you can click on multiple files in your My Drive. You could sequential files or alternate files, and then right click, organize, move, and it'll move multiple files, multiple folders at once. You'll pick
Yeah.
the folder that you're interested in, and it will allow you to organize your documents. Now, when you go back to your My Drive, your Google Docs, it will know that the file moved. So you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Because what happens is every file has a link. The link doesn't change. It just puts it, Google Drive just puts it in a hierarchy for you. But the link to the file doesn't change. So you can work on it that way in Google Docs.
Okay.
You do it through, oh, here. The other thing is if you're in your file, so here's your Google Doc, you do File, Move. you can move it right now. So you can edit the file, and when you're done, move it and put it where you want.
Up there in Drive, my Drive.
So while you're in your dock, File, Move, and it'll move it in your drive. Remember that, which is what I said earlier, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, these Google tools does use Google Drive as its repository. So these menu items, some of them work the same as Google Drive that I showed you a few minutes ago.
Right.
Is that clear, or?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to show you again, or it's?
No, I got it.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Glad we got to play with this a little bit. Good. Any other questions? We still have a few more things to talk about, but I don't want to rush through anything. We've got plenty of time. So we'll move on. So moving a file or moving a folder to the trash folder. So when you delete something, by default, it's not permanently deleted. The default option is you move it to the trash can. Remember, it's in the menu on the left. Now, in the trash can, it will be deleted in 30 days, or in the trash can, you can permanently delete it if you want to. You have 30 days before it's automatic. Or if it's still in the trash can, you can recover it, back to where it came from. So if you accidentally deleted something, you can go right back within 30 days and put it back. Once it's permanently gone, it's permanently gone. You can't recover something that's permanently gone, whether you've permanently deleted it or after 30 days. On the Microsoft Windows PC, they have what's called the recycle bin. So the trash can is like the recycle bin. So you pick your document, you right click, the pop-up menu is there, move to trash. And then the document gets moved into the folder called trash. It's really all it is. It's a folder on your drive. If you make a mistake, or you change your mind, you right click on the file that's still in your trash and restore, or delete forever. Delete forever, you can no longer restore. So if you're not sure, don't delete forever. So delete forever is instantaneous or automatically in 30 days.
Does it restore back to its original folder?
Yes. The same version into the same folder. Yep. And there's the note at the bottom. You can recover within 30 days of the delete date. So if you're deleting a file that's its age is more than 30 days, that doesn't matter. If it's deleted today, the 30 days counts today, no matter the age of the file. And if you want to just look, you can right click and look at this. Even if you don't want to delete any of your files, you can just watch how the menu works. Or delete and then recover it, restore it. Very good. Now, you may want to search for a file. You know the name, but you just can't remember which folder it's in. You might have developed a hierarchy of many folders over time. And if you have a very good memory, God bless you. But if you don't, or if you're not really sure, Or maybe you've got files of similar names in different folders. So what you do in the search icon, the search field at the top of the screen, you put the word that's in the name of the file. And what will happen is anything that matches, regardless of the folder, will display in the list. And if you look at the far right, you'll see the name of the folder. So it's under location. So there's a Ritter's folder, a public folder, a My Drive that everybody has, the shared with me, Ritter's RFC. So it will show you where it is. And so you have a couple options. One is you can actually just double click on the folder and open it. You can download it. You can do whatever you want. It's a view of all these files. Or you could just navigate over to that folder. So right click on the name. And you could also get more file information in a lot of detail. Right at the bottom, My Drive, public, Ritter's custom woodwork, and then there's the folder right there. Folder in the file, and you can click on that. So if you're a little forgetful like I can be, this would be a good way of finding things. Yeah, so Arthur, if you start moving some of your documents around and organizing them, which could be ultimately helpful, if you didn't remember where you put any one specific file, this would be an easy way to find it, having moved them out of your My folder, My Drive, into another folder. Okay. The other thing you could do is once you highlight the file, you can click on the little letter I as well. That's the information. And you'll get like a window pane on the right side, all the information about the file. You can even see right below the icon there of the image of the file, who has access. If you granted access to other people, it will tell you. And then if you realize, oh, I don't want that person anymore to have access, you can then go manage the access and remove them. Basically, the reverse of sharing. Oh, okay. So we're at the end. Yep.
Let me interrupt, but I've got to go, but I'm glad it's recorded and I'll look for the link to see the remainder.
I'll tell you what, let's
tomorrow.
quickly go there.
Okay. So thank you again, though.
So to find the slide deck for anyone who's leaving a little early, this is my website, Princeton Tech Advisors. There's a menu item called Workshops. And then in that page is a recently offered programs. There's a list of all my programs that I've done this year and then links to future past years. This one is the one that'll be at the top of the page. This document, this sheet is already there. Another day or so, there'll be a link also for the video. Or you can search for my YouTube channel through the website.
Okay, thank you. Bye now.
So there's, okay, good. So for the benefit, anybody still there? I just make sure. Okay, good. So Kimmy is still here. Okay, so, but we're wrapping up. John is still here. Good. So as we wrap up, so what do you do with the Google Drive? It's really for storing any kind of file. It doesn't really matter. You can create them in the Google Docs, Google Sheets. You can create them in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, video, audio, pictures people send, doesn't matter. You can access the files anywhere that you can log into your Google account. So if it's on a smart device like a phone, that's usually on the internet. If your laptop is internet enabled, Wi-Fi enabled, then you can get it on the internet. Obviously, a home desktop, you can. Just log in with your Google account and go to your Google Drive. And you can organize the files and the folders. You can manipulate the files and folders. We talked about organizing them in a hierarchy. We talked about uploading, downloading, deleting, moving, version control. I know we went through it a little quickly, but I didn't want to rush through. Of course, you can download this document later. And then we also talked about you can share files and you can share folders. People can view or you can collaborate with them. So what's nice about that, you don't have to email attachments to anybody anymore. Let them fix it and then send it back to you. A problem with that is you now have multiple versions. What if you email a version of a file to someone? They make some changes, you make other changes, and now you want to merge the changes between two versions. That's a problem when you email individual copies. When you share a file, you're all working on the same one and you can collaborate and all the updates are changed. Actually, what's kind of cool is when you're working on a file when somebody else is, like a doc or a drive or something, or a sheet, it will actually show you what the other person is typing. It's kind of handy that way. So you get a lot of flexibility in Google Drive. And again, if you'd like to download this presentation or view it anytime, go to my website, princetontechadvisors.com, click on the workshop tabs. Now, those red arrows are not on the website. The menu is, the links are there. The red arrows are just on this picture so you can see where you can find them. When you click on recently offered programs, a new page will display with all of my 2023 presentations. I've been doing presentations for 10 years. At the bottom, you can access prior ones as well. You should also see a link to my YouTube channel. That's actually where this video will be stored once it's ready. So any more questions? Here's my contact information if I could be helpful later on. So we've got certainly a few more minutes left. Any other questions while we're still together?
I'm good.
Okay.
What are the classes you teach?
This is the only class I'm teaching this semester. I teach a class called Social Media for Authors. So I do some programs that help job seekers. If you're considering starting a business, I talk about that at a high level. Yeah, I mean, if you have, if I can help you with a specific tech question, you want to send me an email, I can do that. I don't typically tutor. What were you thinking of?
I was just curious. You said you had all those YouTube videos and stuff, so I was just curious what else you did as well.
So yeah, so I don't remember how many YouTube videos I have. So there are a couple of programs, best practices for websites, social media for authors, using technology to grow your business, which is also kind of a social media type of a program. I'm very active in helping people who are job hunters, so I have programs for them. Yeah, if you check out my YouTube channel, you'll see all of them that I have there. I don't remember how many, maybe 30 or 40.
I'm taking Google Photos next week, so I was about to ask you, where you're teaching that?
That's not me, no.
Okay.
So the closest I come to Google Photos is I do have an Android phone. That's Google, and that's where I take my photos. There's a program, there's an app. If you have the Android phone, called Magic Eraser. Have you seen that one?
I have the Google Pixel phone, so it comes with it.
It comes with it, yes. I had to download it. Yeah, if you haven't played with that, that's fun.
It's very good.
It's pretty good at getting rid of stuff and assuming what should be there. It's not good at. Yes, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, my background is actually in information technology. I started back with the IBM 360s, and when there was no such thing as a computer computer, and I learned Word through DOS, to
Let's see
the
if I.
Microsoft DOS before there was Windows.
No, yeah, you and I probably. Oh, here it is. Okay, so
But
you and I come from the same era. This
yeah,
is my IBM 370 reference summary.
yeah,
You had to have had one of these. It's
yeah,
EBCDIC and ASCII of every character.
yeah.
And then before Visio, I had this template
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
flowcharts. Just happened to have it
I,
on my
I,
desk right here.
I
So
worked in yeah, I worked in operations, so I had the old reel tapes, and I worked on the card readers
oh
with
yeah,
the
okay,
punch
yeah, yeah,
cards, all that stuff. So
yeah. I
they,
only
then I was
used
data,
card readers in school. Yeah, not professionally.
then I
Professionally, I
was a
had.
data.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say then I was a database Oracle database manager, and then a validation
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah, nice.
person, and so. But it says that Google, I use a lot of Microsoft products, but I just started, since I've all this Google stuff, I said, well, maybe I need to figure out how to use it and a little better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like professionally we have a lot of the same background. But you can't tell kids what a card reader is.
I worked at Bell. I worked at Bell Labs, developed the first
Oh,
mobile
okay.
phone, and
Yeah.
I
Wow.
still have that shoebox phone that they use for the. And occasionally, when I'm mentoring people, I'll bring that phone out, and they're like, "What is that?" I said, "That's a cell phone." They like, "Get out of here," and try to tell them how we got from there to to this device. So yeah, seen a lot.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you. I'm
Yep.
going to get ready to
Yep.
go too.
Okay. Very good. Anything else, Kimmy?
No, I think that's it for now. That's it. That's
Okay.
good. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for joining this evening. And so once I end the meeting, the video does take a little time to process, and then I'll be able to post it, if not tonight, then tomorrow. And hopefully you do still have my contact information. I did email all of you, so it's there as well. If you have a question, feel free.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good night. Nice meeting you.